I thought they were the Greek pronunciations. They're the Greek pronunciations.
Exactly.
That's so smart.
Even now, if you want to go to Europe or Switzerland, I
Yeah.
can arrange your accommodation there. I have connection.
Please. I'll call you.
You can invite me. We can do it together.
Oh, that's
Oh.
so sweet. Of course. I'll come over one time, just make some omelet together.
We'll do a cooking live stream next time. How about that?
Yeah, we'll do a cooking live stream. Pithav, you teach us how to do an omelet. We're gonna go straight to
You
Seminary.
can come to Almond if you need haircut. I can do it.
Oh, okay. Next time I'm there, I'll let you know.
നമ്മുടെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ചില ഇടിക്കുന്ന ബിഷപ്സ് ഉണ്ട് ബസ്.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Tea with Thomas. I am your co-host Kayson, and I am joined by Aaron George and Jarek Abraham. Today we are bringing you a very, very exciting and warm episode. I'm super excited because we're joined here by our beloved Pithav, His Excellency Philipos Mar Stephanos. He is the Metropolitan Bishop of St. Mary Queen of Peace, the Eparchy of USA and Canada. So Pithav, welcome to Tea with Thomas. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm immensely delighted to be with the Tea with Thomas program.
Yes, awesome.
Thank you,
Pithav.
Thank you, Vidali.
I appreciate the MCYM's initiative of this podcast, Tea with Thomas. It's an inspiration for the whole Malangara Church. We are
Oh.
proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pithav.
And we really
just,
appreciate you being here.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I just want to say we really appreciate you being here. I know you're a busy guy. Thank you. Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to say something for our audience. We'll be referring to our bishop as Pithav or Thirumeni at times. So for our people who don't know the lingo that we use in the Malayalam tradition or in the Malayalam language, we reserve Pithav for bishops and Thirumeni for bishops. So don't get lost. That's what we'll be addressing our Pithav as. So yeah. Also, for those of you who don't know, this podcast was actually blessed by our Stephanos Pithav in Austin, Texas at our youth conference. It was an amazing day. I remember on Sunday, or before that even, I sent you an email reminding you of this initiative that we started. And I think you were very excited. You sent me a very loving email. I read it. I was so elated that you really took this into heart. And because of that, we got the motivation to move forward. And I told them, hey, I was really excited about this. So thankfully, with your prayer and with your blessings, we were able to launch this podcast. And I have a photo. I think we'll put that photo up of us on this edit after post-production. And so everyone could see that. But it was a very good day. And that gave us a motivation to produce so many more episodes. And I'm very honored that we have an episode with you. So thank you so much for that. And
Thank you for
personally,
having me. Thank you for
Of
having
course.
me.
Thank you, Pithav. Thank you. So personally speaking, I've gotten to know you I think you came to my house a few years ago. I don't know if you remember, but when you came to San Jose, I was a little guy. I didn't have this much hair. I was with a buzz cut. But I remember you coming to the house, and I think you greeted us with hugs, and you talked about, I think you know my grandfather, my aunties, and all that. I didn't know much about you at the time, but I got to learn more about you because you're a very open person. You talked about your stories. You talked about basketball with me. I remember you talking about free throws, you refereeing. Those were just like, I never heard a bishop talk like that before. I mean, so I was just amazed by your lovingness, your kindness, and your openness with us. And we had a great time. And years down the line, I've got to meet you again in Camp Spark with Aaron as well, who was there. And I remember you grabbed some Texas barbecue or something and came and sat right next to me. And you made me connect with so many people there. I was like, yeah, he's from Kalisheri, or he's from that area. So, and I got to meet so many people because of that. And thank you for forming that connection, because if it wasn't with the blessings of the connection you've set me up with, I wouldn't have this tight family. So I really want to thank you, and I do pray for you, and I really honor you for that.
Thank
in
you
a personal
Kayson,
way.
for the great words you spoke. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So that's just my personal reflection. And of course, we've seen each other here and there. Of course, I randomly see you in Canada. I'm like, oh, that was here, or somewhere else, and I'm like, oh, it's great to see you. And we always catch up when we can. So I'm blessed, and I hope more of the other youth could approach you and ask you questions and get to know you more as well. So that's my testimony with you, Pithav.
Thank you. You're always welcome. Thank you.
I think a lot of us really want to understand, especially as like a role of Thirumeni. I think people don't fully comprehend the aspect of that. Thirumeni at one point was a kid just like you and me, right? We were all, once growing up, wherever we may have all grown up in, whether USA, India, or the different countries across the earth. So we want to ask you specifically about your upbringing. Pithav, could you share a little bit more about, your upbringing, as a youth, especially with your parents and your siblings?
Thank you, Aaron. I was born and raised in an Orthodox family with 5 siblings. My parents named Philip and Mariama. Both are in heaven now. They were devout and practicing Christians. I was born in Rani in the district of Pathanamthitta. I was baptized in an Orthodox church by my own uncle, Father Mathai Otatul OIC. He was a senior priest in the Orthodox Bethany Ashram, which was founded by Venerable Archbishop Ioannis Thirumeni. When Ioannis Thirumeni reunited with the Catholic Church, my uncle remained in the Orthodox Bethany Ashram. As a young boy, I spent at least a week there in the ashram during the school vacations for prayer and retreat, fostering a deep connection with the ashram and spiritual matters. My early faith formation took place in the Orthodox Church, where I served as an altar boy. I remained a staunch Orthodox Christian until my family embraced Catholicism. In fact, my first visit to Catholic Church was at the age of 15. And that too was for my own Catholic reunion. And on the very following day, the next day, on 16th of June, 1968, I entered the seminary.
Wow.
That is my childhood story.
Yeah, that's very special. Thank you, Pithav, for sharing. I think, especially the one point that really highlighted for me, I think I saw all 3 of us like smile at the same time. When you said specifically on the fact that you had a Catholic reunion, right? And it wasn't just you; it was also your family as well. So I think it's very much a blessing to kind of see that our faith itself, right? It's not just located within the Catholic Church in terms of the spiritual awakenings that occur, right? Catholicism is an invitation to all, and I think especially in your early life, and as you continue to serve as the bishop, it really shows the reflection of just how our church continues to give an outreach and continues to reach out to people. So thank you for sharing, Pithav. We appreciate it.
Pithav, I have a question for you. How old were you when you reunited?
Just after the school, 15 years.
15 years old.
After
Okay.
the 10th class.
10th class. That's when you went to seminary as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Immediately
Wow, very
thereafter.
young.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy to be making that decision at the age of 15.
15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could you kind of tell us a little bit about your journey to priesthood? And you talked about your vacation spent in the ashram, right, with your uncle.
Mhm.
So could you talk about that and like what inspired you to become a priest, and what was the experience like in the early years of being a priest?
Yes, I'm really delighted to share the story of my vocation to priesthood.
Mhm.
From childhood onwards, I had only one dream: to be a priest and celebrate Holy Kurbono as our Achans and Thirumenis do. In school, when the teachers ask, "What do you want to become?" I always answered, to be a priest. I had no other alternative in my mind. That was totally a focused, unique thought and dream. This dream was deeply rooted those days and as a young lad when I was in the Orthodox tradition. Because my family had a strong priestly connection. As I said, my uncle was a priest. And within our family, there are numerous priests in the Orthodox Church. Besides, our family house was adjacent to the Orthodox Church. And that church did not have a rectory for the priest. As a result, our house became a place of hospitality for the clergy. That strengthened my attraction and attachment to priests and priesthood. So that is the initial story of my vocation to priesthood. Yeah.
And could you tell us, like, what was seminary like? So schooling is what, 12 years, right? With the college degree. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
What was seminary like?
Sure. See, after the secondary school living completion, I had a sudden reunion with the church. On the following day, I entered the seminary.
Oh, following day.
Yeah, not even 24 hours.
Whoa, that's awesome.
On a Saturday evening, our family joined the Catholic Church on Sunday early morning. I was taken to the seminary because if the Orthodox community come to know about it, they might resist because we were so attached to the Orthodox community.
Okay.
So in order to avoid their resistance, early morning itself, I was brought to the seminary. And the then Bishop Zacharias Mar Stephanos received me in the seminary. Of course, our parish priest had a discussion with the bishop and everything was pre-arranged. So I was welcomed by the then Bishop of Tiruvalla in the seminary. There I did pre-degree course at St. Berkman's College, Changanasheri, and 2 years of minor seminary, doing studies in language, Syriac, Latin, and English, and spiritual orientation classes. Then I was sent to the major seminary, Pune Paper Seminary. There I did a baccalaureate in philosophy and baccalaureate in theology. So almost 11 years of seminary formation.
Yeah, Pithav, that's amazing education. You know, it's such a big part of, especially in our families, in our Mullinger community, and you know, in a lot of communities. That's absolutely the education aspect, right? Really reflecting on your studies and focusing on them, while at the same time, you know, understanding that you're going through the seminary process as well. It's also giving a life devoted to God. I really wanted to ask, especially at the beginning when you talked about immediately joining in after having this conversion within yourself to join the Catholic Church, and especially as a family as well, familial conversion to Catholicism as well. I know that must not have been easy, right? You had talked about, you know, coming from the Orthodox faith, and I think we have a lot of listeners, absolutely, outside of our church as well. And I think it's an important question. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what was that process like, right? How did your family personally go through that, and especially with one of their sons deciding to also join the priestly life, right? How were those conversations within the family?
And one thing in the Orthodox faith, you can get married. In the Catholic faith, you cannot get married as
That
an
is true.
action. So, so that's another thing.
My Orthodox friends bring that up all the time. So
right.
Marriage was never my consideration. I always wanted to be a religious celibate priest as a young boy.
Wow.
You know, as Aaron mentioned, it was not that easy to become a Catholic. You know, my paternal uncles and our Achanapachan, the grand uncle Apachan, severe, they cut off our relationship. And my uncle never visited our church thereafter, And they stopped talking to us and cut off all relationships. It was highly, very painful experience to become a Catholic and remain as a Catholic. I was insulted and experience of alienations I had because of the reunion. Yeah,
Wow.
we paid a heavy price for that. I know that.
And I think one of the things, as I reflect on that is really reflecting on the times of, when our priests, our early priests, as they, reflect and they reflect on their vocation and they do join in on the seminary, right? Regardless of if, you're coming out of another faith and coming in and joining the Catholic faith, or, you've been, raised and brought up as a Catholic, right? The aspect of community within our church is so big, right? Wherever we are, even if our family has that separation with us, we know that at the end we can always come to Christ, right? We can always come to the church, and we can always have community in our church. And so, especially in that aspect, I think I want to thank especially everyone who's been part of Pithav's the journey into his vocation, right? And especially in those early years, as he felt that alienation, to really have that support system, whoever that may be, family, any kind of family, the friends that he had, people within the seminary and the studies as well, right? All those people were, fundamental to where he is today. So we give an appreciation to you all as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Pithav. I
I
thank
can
you for
also
being very.
share another experience.
Sure.
My minor seminary days, as I went home for the vacation, I wanted to visit my uncle's house. As I entered the house, not the house, and at the entrance of the door, the auntie closed the door, shut the door, and said no. Prohibited me to enter into their house even. So that was, as for a young boy, young man, it was very painful, yeah. But God has mysterious ways of reconciliation and unity with that family later years, after almost 20 years' time. So I had the privilege of officiating her funeral
Wow.
in the Orthodox Church.
In the
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Pithav, thank you for being so vulnerable.
Yes.
Not a lot of people say this, and
Right.
thank you for being, very open with this, and thank you for telling me about that and how you reconciled, right? You never held anything, no grudges. You follow the commandment of Christ to forgive 70 times 7, right? So, and you did that, and that's why you are a bishop. You're a model of the apostles in a lot of ways. So thank you, Pithav, for doing that. That's a model to us as well. Thank you.
Yes. And I mean, it shows our passion as Christians,
Yeah.
right? We can hold that passion, and thank you, Pithav, for having the passion to go through with the mother church to follow the dream of Reminisce, right? So, Pithav, to move on to your priesthood, I remember once you visited my aunt's house here in Philadelphia, and we were having a late night talk, and in my ultimate wisdom, I began talking to you about your early priesthood life, and you were talking about the high ranges, the Elantotems in the high ranges, and I know I was trying to give you some ideas on how to improve the business and how to work out some problems. But can you talk a little bit about your experience in the high ranges? What was it like being a young priest there?
Well, I was ordained in 1979. After the ordination, I continued my master's in theology in the seminary. Thereafter, I was appointed as a missionary priest up in the hills, high ranges of Idiki, within the jurisdiction of the Archdiocese of Tiruvalla. There, I had very major challenges, yet rewarding experiences I had. The people in that region were predominantly farmers, struggling with socioeconomic hardships in a new settlement area. I tried to embrace their lifestyle, working alongside with them to improve their living conditions. During this time, I initiated new missions, helped reunite several families with the Catholic Church, and launched various social projects and pastoral initiatives for the development of the people. My early ministry among the farmers instilled a deep appreciation for environment, agriculture, and the dignity of labor. Those values that resonated with my upbringing on my own family farm, which is called Thotathil.
Thotathil, yeah.
House in Thotathil.
House in Thotathil.
Because my father was a farmer, so I have direct exposure to farm. We have different farm products in our house: sugarcane, rice, coconut, rubber, and a blend of all agricultural products we had at home. So I have very vivid, in-depth exposure to the farming sector.
Right.
Yeah.
And Pithav, could you talk about like one of the missions or something that you did with the farmers there? Is there anything
Yeah.
specifically that comes to mind about the high ranges?
That was later when I was appointed as the auxiliary bishop in charge of the high ranges.
Ah, I see.
Okay.
I see.
But
Okay.
by the
during
early
my
life.
early
Uh-huh.
priesthood life, I was more focusing on the missions.
Okay.
Missions.
Of
Okay.
course,
Okay.
I had to oversee the farming in the land of the churches. Of course, there
Mm.
Right.
we had coffee plantations, tea plantations, or pepper, other spices, cardamom.
Yeah.
The churches had the income from the farms. People did not have much money to donate to the church. So people used to work in the church campus, and the income from the products, agricultural products, were used for the maintenance of the church.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pithav, do these farms still exist today in that
Yeah.
area?
Is it? Do they?
Yeah, because those days our bishops found the sustainability of the parish by the income from the land and agricultural products of the church. So this still, even now, all the churches have land property. And of course, nowadays agricultural products are not so income generating now.
Yeah.
Those days
True.
it was good. We could sustain the system.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when you kind of look back at it, what one might say that, okay, well, this is entirely for a profit. But I think what people fail to kind of understand is the church works in very different ways in order to, cultivate these aspects of missions, right? And I think a great part of this is it really teaches people, especially the aspect of environmental stewardship.
Yeah.
And that's just a simple definition as to how do we take care of the environment, right? How do we cultivate and help foster what God has created, right? When we say God is creator, right? We also say that there is goodness in everything because he called everything good when he
Good,
created
right.
everything. We read this in Genesis, and we also
Right.
see that when he made us, he created us to be very good. So we are also called to be the ones to help cultivate the land around us. And I think this is a
Yeah.
prime example, especially in your early life as a priest, to
Yeah.
get you to be in that position. So yeah.
I remember another project which we started as a young priest. We started a credit union, financial credit union.
Whoa.
Those
Wow.
days. So on Sundays, people will bring their small money of deposits to the church, and that will be credited and pooled together. And on Monday, it will be deposited in the bank. Of course, in my personal name. But whenever people need money, I used to give the money,
Wow.
whatever they need for their education of the children, or for marriage, or buying some new clothes, and so on.
Mhm.
So that was a kind of credit union system started. So I had a substantial amount of money to roll for this purpose.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Who would have known Stephanos Pithav was a banker? Man,
That is funny.
that
No,
is
that
incredibly
is-
cool. That
Yeah,
is.
and you started so many missions there. Okay, where in you said Idiki, right? You're the high ranges in
Yeah,
Thodupuzha, Kattapana area. What?
yeah,
Where?
that all
All area.
part of the Idiki district, eastern part of Kerala.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
It has about 12,000 square kilometers area.
Yeah.
Most of them are forest area.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know? Can you list some churches that maybe you founded? Maybe one or two churches that you founded over there and
Yeah,
mission
one
started.
is called Kattapana.
Kattapana, okay.
That is one of the major municipal cities of Idiki,
Yeah.
which I founded, and the pastoral center there. I
Okay.
founded it. Then another is Pariyari Kandam, that is
Okay.
near Todubida area, on the way to Todubida
Thirumeni.
area. There we have a convent and a school. So those days I had to walk about 12 kilometers for the third mass in those area.
Oof. Oh my
It was very adventurous, agendas, mission journeys there.
That is awesome.
That
No,
was-
Go ahead.
So those
Yeah.
days, new settlement area, so
Yeah.
Right.
people were struggling. So we did not have thatched churches. On Sunday after the mass, I had to sleep on the floor on a coconut leaf mat, like that. Yeah,
Wow.
sleep overnight there. So on the following day, we visit families, finding new people, and Monday evening, walk back, and my motorbike will be in the main road about 12 kilometers away.
Wow.
So
Did you have a Royal
And,
Enfield or what did you have?
I
What
had
did you
a-
have?
I had a motorbike called the SB, that was a Korean stuff that exists more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that.
Called motorbike ride only because they are off roads,
Okay.
We have to jump from one stone to another.
Oof.
Only
I wish-
donkeys
I
can
wish we
go
have I wish we have a picture of that
through
somewhere.
that side. Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's-
Pithav, if you have a photo of you with the bike,
Yeah,
please.
bike, let us
Please
know.
send it.
Please send
Please
it.
Would love
So,
to see.
Pithav, how old were you? So, as a young Achekwachechen, right? Like, how old were
I
you?
started the mission at the age of 30 there.
30. Okay.
I was ordained priest at the age of 27. Then I continued my master's. So I began at the age of 29, we can say,
30. Okay.
my missionary activities up in the hills.
Up
That
in the
lasted
hills.
for 5 years. Then I was sent for higher studies to pursue doctorate in Rome.
In Rome. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's before you went to Delhi, or is that after?
Delhi was after when I returned from Rome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, so we could probably do that timeline then, just to understand, your education, why you went to Rome, who helped you, get an admission over there, all that stuff. Could you tell us more about your education that you pursued in Rome?
Yeah. So as I was involved totally in the pastoral mission up in the hills, one day my bishop sent a messenger to me, come to the bishop's house, we want to send you for higher studies. So the Congregation for the Oriental Churches granted me a 5-year scholarship to pursue a doctorate in moral theology. So I did that in the Pontifical Accademia Alfonsiana in Rome.
Yeah.
That was in moral theology. There, my doctoral dissertation was focused on the identity and relationship of women and men in church and society. It was based on the studies of the World Council of Churches in the context of the development of modern sexism and feminism. Those days, they were
Yeah.
the talk of the time.
You're right.
The
70s,
World
right?
Council- That was in the
80s or 70s, or 70s or 80s?
that was in the 80s.
80s, right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Radical feminism was emerging at that time. So I thought, let me pursue a hot subject, some
Subject of-
controversial subjects. So being a Catholic, I know I could not take a very radical positions, but take a very balanced position.
Right.
But I had the exposure to that. And for example, I remember after my studies, when I came to the diocese during the preparation of the particular law of our diocese, there was a suggestion that women should be allowed to have the office to be in the parish council. So when I proposed that, our bishop said, Stephen Achan, if you have women in the parish council is often done in the evenings. in the villages, women cannot come in the evening for the parish council meeting. They have to be accompanied by other people. But women, they have to cook at home. So the role of women has to be conditioned by the context, he said. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, conditioned by the context, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you had an amazing journey in Rome. I think I personally talked to you about, you liking Italian food and all that stuff there, but we could get that later. And you had a great experience. Tell me about Rome a little bit, just a little bit before we go into the.
I lived in Rome for 5 years.
Okay.
Living in Rome and being exposed to the European and Western thoughts and civilization expanded my intellectual and theological horizons beyond the traditional Catholic and Indian ways of thinking, food habits, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So during those 5 years, I did not return to India, never had a vacation. Instead, I immersed myself in Western civilization, visiting different cities, learning new languages and new cultures, enjoying new foods, working in different parishes in Italy and Germany and Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
So I extended my horizon of exposure to the Western world. In between, once I came to USA and made a trip, I purchased a ticket in Delta Airlines for €1,000 that I could visit from one city to another. So I went around the major cities of USA on these days. Yeah.
Wow. You're traveling. You're outside of India enjoying your Italian life.
So quick question. Okay, so whenever I go somewhere, I usually have someone I know, right? So you usually have someone there to help. So what was that like? You're going to Switzerland, Germany, coming here in the US, going to the major cities where there might not be a lot of the Malayali presence. I mean, let alone like Malankara presence, right? So what was that like? How did you navigate around that?
Well, when I was studying in Rome, so we had 3 months of major vacation time, summer vacation in the university. So those days we could take a pastoral ministry in the parishes in Germany and Switzerland and Italy. So I used to apply for that, and you get permission and visa, and we get appointment there, and the priests there go for vacation, and we serve as substitute priests. So we get some money, pocket money, we can buy some books, and that will be a source of financial support for our sustenance as students. So that money I used for sightseeing also. So when I came first in USA, I came with our Bishop Mar Stephanos. I said, I will join you on weekends wherever you are. Otherwise, I will travel cities and stay in a motel. If you pay $50, you can stay all night there and get breakfast, take a tourist bus and see the city. And with that ticket, I could travel anywhere in USA, wherever this Delta Airlines were there. I had to pay only $1,000 altogether.
Whoa, altogether?
1 month season ticket.
Okay. I was like, wait, I'm like, okay, it's a season ticket. I understand now. Okay, that is awesome. Okay.
They don't make those anymore, sadly.
They don't make those anymore.
I wish.
If you reach the counter, if you don't have any seat, we cannot travel.
Okay. There's an open seat. You
So
can
we
use
just an open seat facility. I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
On weekend, I came back to and joined our bishop, then Bishop Mar Stephanos, and visited our missions here in USA. That was my first experience in USA. That was back in 90s.
90s. Yeah, Pithav, you talked about Thirumeni or Timotheus Thirumeni. My family has a very good connection. He's a late Thirumeni. He passed away in 2019, I believe, right? He caught injury. So I was there in India actually, and I got to see him in a sort of throne, and it was very sad for my dad because he baptized my dad, and there's a long history. But I know you were secretary under him for a while. So can you just tell us a little bit about Thirumeni, because a lot of people see Thirumeni as a big role model for them. For a lot of the bishops who are currently in the current synod of bishops, right? They all looked up to him. So can you tell us more about him a little bit?
Well, he was our minor seminary rector
Mm.
So I was trained by him 4 years in the minor seminary.
Okay.
So those days I had a special affinity with him.
No.
I always looked upon as the role model and a great influencer, spiritual model for me. So he too had a special attachment to me. And I know he was the pastor in Kaliseri where your parents are there. So I used to join him for pastoral ministry, teaching catechism in your parish in Kaliseri
Yeah.
those days as a young minor seminarian.
Yeah.
So, so I had a special connection with him. When I was in Rome, I used to accompany him in his European trip
Mm.
as a porter of his baggage, luggage boy. And also writing his letters, preparing his projects like that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. No, Thirumeni, I heard a lot of good stories about him. Like anything in his pocket, if anyone is in need, he just takes it out and gives it to them. And
He's a very generous man.
very generous man, right? I know when you told me about the fund that you made, like kind of the credit union thing, kind of reminded me of like that story of Thirumeni giving out paisa and all that. So I was like, oh, I think maybe you learned from him about that or that generosity, maybe. But yeah, that's great. That's great. So you were in Rome. You of course traveled. You had a great experience. Maybe you saw you maybe seen Holy Fathers. At the time, Pope John Paul II was there, right?
Yeah, those
Yeah.
days.
Those days.
Those days I
Saint
saw
John.
John Paul II, accompanied then Bishop Isaac Mar Thirumeni as his secretary to present the report of the diocese.
Wow.
So that time I was the only priest studying in Rome from the Diocese of Tiruvalla. So I had the privilege of accompanying him for the visitation of the Holy Father to submit the 5-yearly report of the diocese that is called Quintennial ad limina visit.
Wow. That's I can't say that word properly, so I'm not gonna say it. It's a Latin, so is it Latin, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Latin. Okay. I can't say it, but
5-yearly. So
okay,
I had
5 years.
the opportunity to visit other bishops also.
Okay.
Benedict XVI, and significantly, all the Malankara bishops joined John Paul II for a lunch just a few months before his passing.
Whoa.
So that is one of the unique moments of our visitation of the popes. So I had the privilege to visit and personally to meet with all the three popes of the modern time of the church.
Wow.
John Paul II, Pope Benedict, and Francis.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of you with Pope Benedict and maybe Pope Francis. I haven't seen much with Pope Francis. Pope Benedict, yes, I've seen some pictures of you with him. Yeah, but that's awesome. So you went to Rome. Okay, we're gonna come back to India a little bit now. We're in the land of Delhi. Okay, I think you were posted there for a little bit. I talked to my auntie. She's a sister, right? So she told me some small stories here and there. And but I just wanted to ask you in the beginning about your stories in Delhi, how you started some missions over there, right? So can you just tell us more about that?
Okay, before that, after returning from Rome, I was in Tiruvalla for almost a year.
Okay.
Serving as the director of MCYM and secretary to the bishop, vice rector of the minor seminary, and pastor for 2 small parishes. So I was doing multi-dimensional service after my return from Rome.
Okay. Okay, then we could touch on that before we jump to Delhi, before we go up north a little bit. Let's come to Tiruvalla for a little bit of that. Okay. So you said you were the MCYM director there. So so you worked with a lot of youth, the young spirit, and still you're a very young spirited man. So how was working with the youth? How was being the director there? Your biggest takeaway from being in that position?
Well, it was very challenging and a role to be with the youngsters, the young people. At the time, Kerala was experiencing significant socio-economic changes and challenges.
Okay.
So the young people were faced with several difficulties in education, employment, and social development.
Hmm.
So MCYM worked tirelessly to uplift their dignity and well-being,
Okay.
with the faith and moral formation as the foundation for holistic human development. So we were conducting career guidance program or a career training program, helping people to get admission in technical schools, in our own schools or engineering schools or polytechnical schools, or in the farming sector, like that. It was an intensive, multi-dimensional activity, not just spiritual faith formation uh, alone. So we were having programs of personality formations, how to go to interviews, how to seek job opportunities, how to develop career programs in the government sector and in the private sector. Also, those days we had many opportunities in the Gulf area. We used to identify opportunities there. Did some liaison works with people of influence there to get some job placement over there. So this kind of work was there. But I had only 1 year there for this kind of work. Then I was transferred to Delhi.
Then we transferred to Delhi. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
wow. Pitava, yeah, I think especially when you're talking about at that specific position, I feel like God really placed you to do the most, especially with our youth. I think for me, a personal reflection for me, I remember when you were appointed as the bishop of of the US and Canada, one of your early trips was to Houston. And I remember this distinctly because of course you had come in, right? And of course, anytime you come and visit us, of course, there's a big celebration and a lot of joy, of course, within our church, right? In our church building. But then right after, you made it a special moment that you came to our back hall and you sat in a chair and we had all of our MCYM and Sunday school students just sit down. We just got to ask you questions, right? Just almost like a meet and greet, right?
Yeah.
And I think at that point we kind of had the understanding of, okay, well, this is Thirumeni that understands MCYM not just in the sense of like you talked about, not just spiritual formation, but also personality formation, about understanding that we are living in this world and there's more facets to grow in our to have us be successful in life. And so all of the different projects that people have done, and especially to this project right now that we're sitting in with Thomas, all of that couldn't be done without the experiences that has led to who you are, and especially the work in MCYM. So I'm really appreciative of your early work in that position. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And Pithav, you said briefly that you help personality development, spiritual formation. Did you? I know you were in Tiruvalla for a short while, but did you teach? Did you profess as a professor during that time? I think, did you teach at St. John's by any chance during that time, or?
I was teaching in the minor seminary at that time.
Okay. Okay.
I used to take some classes or seminars here and there because I was only there almost 1 year after returning from Rome. Then I was sent to Delhi. From Delhi, I used to take my summer vacation 1 month and come to Trivandrum to teach in the major seminary there. I was a visiting professor when I was serving in Delhi. So I started teaching seminary from 1992 onwards.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was saying that because my mom was actually taught by you for for one course. Actually, it's crazy that generations are here just talking to each other. But it's awesome. Thank you for your service, especially in teaching. You're a moral theologian, right? So you study moral theology. I would love to learn more about that from you eventually. But let's jump north a little bit. Let's go to Delhi for a little bit. How was your formation in Delhi? Your mission work there, gathering families, the difficulties, the struggles. Just tell us more about that.
Well, I was sent to Delhi in 1991. Began my pioneering pastoral service for the migrant communities, Malankara migrant communities in the Delhi region. So I served 5 years there. So my task was to reach out to different areas within Delhi and outside Delhi, other states, suburban cities of Delhi, and villages. So those days, I had a Maruti car and a Bajaj scooter to travel.
Hey.
So I can say that I traveled thousands of kilometers through the streets and gullies of Delhi reaching out to the every corner of the region, and joys and struggles, anxieties and hopes marked these journeys.
Mm.
So we could reach out and start many mass centers there. So we did not have a permanent building facility in in Delhi, but gradually, while I was residing as a resident priest in the Latin parishes, tried to mobilize fund for the establishment, infrastructural establishment for our community in Delhi, bought and developed a center there, purchased 5 plots in different regions. So these are the pioneering works, and this was under the diocese of Tiruvalla, Archdiocese of Tiruvalla, Mar Thirumeni. He was the bishop. He was very generous. He used to give me plenty of money, and I too had money at the time because of my European connections. So, so the diocese did not have the burden of maintaining me, giving me a salary or other things, because I had my own resources.
Nice.
To maintain myself and my vehicle, and I used to get a lot of visitors. I used to be the driver of all the visiting bishops and priests there. I used to be the tour guide to take people around for Delhi tour or Agra Taj Mahal tour or so. So I had a multifaceted task there in Delhi, organizing people. In fact, those days we had almost 5,000 people in those areas there.
Wow.
I remember for Good Fridays, we used to prepare kanji for 5,000 people there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Ground, yeah.
ഒരു വലിയ കലം വേണമല്ലോ.
അളവല്ല, ചെമ്പ്, ഭയങ്കര.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That is given to the catering services, big catering communities there. No, a little bit of kanji, higher, it's not expensive. People contribute.
Okay.
It was
You told me
it was a grand Good Friday gatherings. It was a united gathering. I enjoyed there. Yeah.
You enjoyed. Okay, nice. I heard that you had a Bajaj scooter there. I had some story about that, but like the weather there was pretty bipolar, right? Like in Delhi, and it's
extreme
really
weather. Extreme.
I heard from someone, from my auntie, that I think in order to prevent the cold from hitting your chest when you're driving a bike or something, you put some patram in between to prevent that happening on your chest, right?
That was one of the best ways of protecting the wind,
Yeah.
Keep a newspaper underneath your banyan. That is, keep your chest warm. It's a natural way of things,
Wow.
So also,
that was so interesting.
Hot season, you bite some onion to prevent from heat bites and all.
Oh wow.
Also, the pollution is so high. If you go by scooter, your shirt and clothing gets so dark, and your nostrils get so polluted with the dark fluids here.
Wow.
So that was Delhi was so filthy at the time. I don't know, even now it's not.
We won't talk too much.
Even to think it was that dirty then, it was like polluted then. That is crazy. But it shows
the capital city, the administrative center was better than the Washington DC, even those days. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And those days I had connections with some ministers in Delhi, so I could enter their corridors and the exposure through the corridors of their socio-political powers in the national capital. So those days, if you want to make some phone calls, it is very expensive to make phone calls, STD systems. Right. So I used to go to the minister's office and avail their STD system to make international calls or calls to Tiruvalla. So that was very interesting, If you have the visiting card of some ministers, we just show the security staff, I'm going to this minister. Then you I have connection with some of the secretaries, staff secretaries. They'll be happy.
That's how you got it. Okay, that's good. You're very good at making connections with that. That's awesome. Good job. You have so many resources. You said you were getting like resources from Italy, the left and right. I mean, it's awesome. That's a big, powerful, gift that you have because it helps sustain the church, right? You have, you call many people. You maintain connections that are deeper, so they love to contribute, right? Yeah, that is true friendship, and I'm very thankful that you did that. That's why you're a bishop. That's why you help us so much with the growth of our church. So very thankful to God about that.
Yeah, thank you, and I wish I knew you had this many connections when I went on a trip to Delhi last year.
Even now, if you want to go to Europe or Switzerland, I can arrange your accommodation there. I have connections.
Please. I'll call you.
I will be taking you up on that offer.
Yes.
MCYM is arranging an excursion to Europe. I can help you out. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Youth conference. Youth conference in Switzerland.
Recently, I'd gone there to give confirmation in a Latin parish.
Wow.
Where I worked those days.
Wow.
About 24 confirmants received the sacrament of confirmation in a Latin parish administered by the Malankara bishop.
So many connections.
But in German language,
Oh,
really?
Oh, yeah, you speak German, right?
Wow.
That is awesome.
Swiss German, yeah.
Swiss German. You know Swiss German too. That's tougher, right?
No, it's same. Swiss German and German.
Okay.
Both German is one and same.
I'm guessing it's like
slangs, some slangs are
right.
different.
Okay.
But the language is one of the same, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So you speak so many languages, like Syriac, Malayalam, Tamil probably as well. You probably know so many Hindi. Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
We can't even speak English properly here. You let alone so many. Yeah, you're very eloquent. That's one thing I noticed about you. You're very eloquent in a lot of your things. You take your time to answer and you think deeply about your questions, and I'm very thankful for that too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. And so we're in Delhi. We want to kind of come back and talk a little bit more about your timeline through, right? So we want to talk about your history in Pushpagiri as the director of Pushpagiri, right? If those of you don't know, Pushpagiri is a hospital in Tiruvalla, and it has had a huge impact in the Malayalam community, right? My sister studied there. My aunt actually worked in Pushpagiri for a while. She worked in the operation theater, so it has had a huge impact on our lives. And Pithav, can you go on to talk a little bit more about the Pushpagiri Hospital, what position you were in, and describe your biggest takeaway from that position?
Well, following my mission work in Delhi, I was transferred and assigned to serve and lead the Pushpagiri Medical Society.
Okay.
And this Pushpagiri Medical Society has different wings. It has got medical college, it has got hospital, it has got a pharmacy college, it has got a dental college, nursing college, and different. Those days when I worked there, we didn't have the medical college, but we had the pharmacy college and the nursing college and so on, school and all. It was completely a new and complex task for me, a new field altogether. Managing a hospital system requires specific and scientific precision and systematic managerial leadership. Healthcare and medical education involve very intrinsic integration of multiple factors. It was a great challenge for me. But I could only navigate this responsibility through the grace of God and unwavering dedication and hard work with the support of numerous people. So since I could get along with people, doctors and other managerial staffs and the public, so human resource management was not a severe problem for me. That facilitated my administrative mission there. So that is the experience there it was totally different. So I can say that I acquired another doctorate, Pushpagiri, in the management system.
Oh, really?
I
No,
experienced it.
By experience. Oh, okay.
You're not
So
wrong
how
at all.
to
Yeah.
how to manage people, how to manage machines, how to manage money, how to
Uh-huh.
generate money, how to distribute money. So we always had a fund scarcity. We had to foresee things, how to deal with bankers, negotiate with bankers for credit and overdraft, and we have to see systems are running properly, regularly, systematically. So it required immense alertness, surveillance, vigilance, and everything. I had to forget myself totally and involve totally in the management system.
Wow. Yeah, Pushpagiri is tough to run. I mean, being a
It
director.
is a huge system involving millions of money.
Yeah.
Those days we did not have that much, but we had almost 1,000 bedded hospital at the time, 1,000-bed
Wow.
hospital at the time.
Wow.
Mm.
So to recruit doctors and other nursing staff is a tough job. Was a tough job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Thirumeni, I think you show a lot of like uniqueness in terms of, or at least I think about it in terms of uniqueness. I probably because I haven't talked to enough bishops in my lifetime, but I think generally all of our listeners are really finding this unique because you know, when we go into our careers and we specialize, right, we maybe only have like a handful of experiences in terms of the field, right? But especially, right, this is still in your priestly life, right? This is still where you're continuing to work and act and play different roles as, you know, director of, you know, many different groups, right? Now in a medical setting as well. And like
Yeah.
you talked about, you know, basically like getting a master's in management, right?
PhD in management.
PhD in management at that point, absolutely. I think it's really enlightening and eye-opening for a lot of our listeners and viewers to kind of understand, you know, the experiences that it kind of takes you to be in a position where you are now
Right.
really shape the person to who they are, right? Like I can only imagine like the struggles you had to go through in this time specifically, especially medicine. I remember in high school, I was thinking about going into medicine and I soon realized absolutely not. The medical side was not for me. So going from, you know, your studies to, you know, like from like farm areas to managing almost like,
Yeah.
like the banking mindset into now going into like the healthcare mindset. I can't even imagine how you were able to do
Yeah.
it all. So really appreciative of you, you know, kind of almost rolling with the punches and moving
Yeah.
forward with, you know, all of the different struggles you had.
Oh man.
Yeah, the first year I had to struggle a lot learning things of quality management, how to conduct nursing auditing, how to conduct medical auditing, how to maintain the structures, infrastructures according to government specifications, and how to maintain salary systems according to government specifications, how to follow labor laws and income tax laws and charity regulations, connection with the political systems and the social organizations and public relationships.
Right.
It is an interplay of different departments.
Yeah.
It's a different world altogether.
Yeah. How many
Absolutely.
years did you do?
5
it
years
for?
I served there.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Years. Yeah.
After 5 years of medical administration, I was called to a new mission to lead the seminary formation in Trivandrum.
Yeah. And I think that works perfectly into our next question because we wanted to continue on in the timeline. So the seminary leadership, right? Going from a hospital setting to the aspect of leading a seminary, how did that transition work and how was your experience there?
Okay, in the hospital, I prepared a master plan for the development. Then Bishop told me, well, you are wanted in Trivandrum by Metropolitan Archbishop to lead the seminary. So we have to transfer you. Don't think about Pushpagiri now.
Oh, wow.
So I was
Okay.
transferred to Major Seminary as the rector. In fact, from material and medical management system to a spiritual and formation management was totally different. But we have some we can draw some insight from there always.
Right.
So for me, it was a very humbling experience as a rector, because I was entrusted with a crucial responsibility of shaping the future priests of our church. So when I reached there, we had 190 candidates for priesthood there. So studying at the same time. So in the seminary, we have to focus. There are guidelines specified from Vatican and Indian Bishops' Conference and the Malankara Catholic Synod and so on. So there are norms to be followed, guidelines to be followed. So we focus on the holistic formation of the candidates for priesthood, their intellectual formation, their emotional formation, their pastoral and formation, their physical fitness, and their moral fitness. Everything has to be promoted and screened and evaluated. Reports to be made and submitted to the bishops. So sometimes we have to suspend some student candidates. Sometimes we have to prune some candidates. So it's a very difficult process. Sometimes just before getting the priestly ordination, we have to say, sorry, you're not fit to be a candidate. So such dramatic things can happen in the seminary. So it's not a very a light thing. It's a sacred responsibility.
Right.
It's a very painful responsibility. Sometimes very hard to tell a candidate, sorry, it is not your vocation. You find somebody out.
Wow.
So
Wow.
in the seminary, we find that only 1/3 of the candidates will reach the final destination for priesthood.
Yeah, that seems about right. That's what I heard the
For
statistics too.
example, in our batch, we started as 12 candidates, only 4 of us became priests.
Mm.
The rest dropped out during the course of the formation. So sometimes they go out by their own initiative. Sometimes seminary has to say, sorry, you have to terminate your formation and go in for some other profession.
Is it because of, let's say, you had to maintain certain grades?
Yeah, we have to assess their quality, spiritual quality, moral quality, academic quality, and pastoral quality. So, total quality management and development in the seminary is very important.
Okay. And I mean, and none of this is being said to like discourage anyone. Like this, the 33% isn't to discourage anyone, right? If you're discern what God has in store for you, right? And this going to seminary is just that process. It's a bit more rigorous, right?
But in the seminary, we have a good system of teamwork. We have deans of the faculties, spiritual fathers, animators, and other moderators and mentors. So it's a collective process and collective decision-making process. But the rector has the major responsibility of the ultimate decision-making, signing either pro or contra. Yeah.
Pro contra. That I understand, Pithav. So awesome. That's a lot of responsibility. It's a heavy duty to carry.
Yeah.
And from that, a lot of good Hutchins came and a lot of great models for us, people who serve in our churches. So thank you for doing that. It takes a lot of courage to, first of all, like being in that position is one thing, but developing systems that improve over time also does matter too. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on the aspect of we just talked about like the where you were in Pushpagiri, right? In that position, and specifically in that role, you were helping people heal bodies, right? And then now you're in a position where you were helping people heal souls, right? And it's funny because there were some words that I caught that you had said, in your work during your position in the seminary, where you had talked about like holistic, right? And it's interesting because that word holistic to me, I always see it in the aspect of medicine, right? But holistic is about like the whole body, right? Looking at someone from the whole sense. And it's cool. It's for me, it's a unique and cool experience to really, as we're going through this timeline, really get to identify what are the things that you picked up from each of the pathways that you had gone into, right? And then, at those points when you were ready to, continue establishing further, you get a call, and the call says it's time for you to move. It's time for you to go to another position, right? And it makes me reflect on, like the uchins that we have in our parishes, right? The bishops that we see that come in and out of the of the U.S. and Canada, right? Of this eparchy, right? So regardless of what happens, right? People come and go, and especially like in our clergy life. But it's there's so much value to see in our experiences that we're able to share it with each other. So thank you again for sharing that aspect as well. I think it's important at this point to talk about your next appointments, right? And especially as we get into your next appointments, I think what we really want to reflect on is your ordination, right? Your episcopal ordination. We want to really understand how that transition happened into how you became a bishop. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
How did you receive the call?
Well, when I was serving as the rector of the major seminary after the third year, at the time of then Bishop of Philipos Mar Thirumeni submitted his resignation, and Rome accepted it. So they had to elect an administrator. The priest of the diocese had to elect an administrator. So the priest voted for me and elected as the administrator of the diocese. So I have to go back to the diocese as the administrator of the diocese.
Mm-hmm.
So Thirumeni retired, so I was in charge of the diocese. And I was functioning that way almost 6 months. Then Archbishop Isaac Marklemis came from USA and took up the leadership of the Archdiocese of Thiruvalla, and he appointed me as his vicar general, and I continued with him. After 1 year, I was again posted back to the seminary as the dean of the faculty of theology, Trivandrum. So there I served almost 4 years as the faculty dean and animator. At the time, very in an unexpected manner, there came the call to be the auxiliary bishop of the Archdiocese of Thiruvalla. Then I was ordained as the bishop, auxiliary bishop, but appointment as administration as auxiliary bishop in 2010, with a special task of pastoral episcopal duty in overseeing the district of Idiki. Where I had the episcopal, previously the experience as a young priest. So knowing the people and their needs there, I embraced that mission in Idiki district with the confidence and enthusiasm.
Wow.
Serving the poor and the marginalized and the needy in that region was a profoundly fulfilling experience and remains one of the most cherished aspects of my episcopal ministry. I enjoyed my priestly life there. I enjoyed my episcopal life there. They are the best experience of my life, I can say.
Wait, what? You're now?
Kayson, you just said on to Thirumeni. That's so funny.
I'm not betraying USA.
Okay.
That was my past experience.
No, absolutely.
No worries, Pithav. You're fine. No, we're just joking around. But Pithav, you told us about receiving that call. Tell us the details of who called you. Where did you get the call from? Where's the letter or phone call? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that is, of course, in this, to be a bishop in the Malankara church is processed through the Episcopal Synod. They vote and decide, and that name is sent to Rome, and Rome ratifies the decision of the Synod, and our head and father of the church, Major Archbishop, communicates the matter to me and asks the consent.
Okay.
Yeah. So after much prayer and reflection, I submitted my consent. So there I was then. Since I was appointed within the Malankara jurisdiction in Thiruvalla, Rome did not have much to say. But in the case of US appointment, that is appointed by the Pope, because it's an extraterritorial region. The appointment letter of Pope Francis here.
Wow.
That is very interesting because
didn't
that
do that.
shows, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
In the Indian, within the Malankara context, appointment is from the major archbishop on
Okay.
behalf of the synod.
Right.
On behalf of
Synod
the
is
Synod. Okay.
Synod is the ultimate decision-making body.
Yeah, we are sui juris, so
Sui
we
juris,
have our
okay.
own, yeah, we have
Yeah.
our own governing body. Yeah.
Right.
That's very interesting, Pithav. Thank you for that because you prayed about it, and of course, I just want to say you came a long journey up to that point. You've had administrative powers, like mission work, farming. You know, a lot of these talents you built up or skills you built up, and they just compounded like a snowball, like into an avalanche eventually. And they recognize it. Your fruit of your labor was recognized by the Synod, right? And by the people around them. People, I talked to my auntie and I was like, people of Idiki and Delhi love you, Pithav. Like there's a lot of things I heard from her. It's like people love you. There's like, I think also Kulos Pithav was with you in Delhi at some time, I believe. So you guys were like beloved for a lot of those people out there. So of course, the love of the people, your ability to lead came all together, and that's why you got that call, right? That's an amazing call from God. And I'm very thankful you said yes to your vocation. I really, really am thankful for that. So Pithav, just to move on, I just wanted to ask, once you accepted that role of bishop, who mentored you into bishophood? Because there's only 16 of you right now, and 2 are emeritus. Like, so who teaches you, who calls you, and how do you get to speed up to the role of a bishop?
Basically, who gives you the crash course on being a bishop?
Crash course.
Well, I have no singular mentor in my episcopal
Okay.
seminacy, but I draw inspiration from Jesus Christ our Lord,
Mhm.
who is the ultimate model of pastoral leadership.
Mhm.
But I can find different models and shades of models in all our bishops. I have very personal connections and friendship with all our bishops. Connections with the Suro Malabar bishops and Latin bishops. And I have I have a web of connections in the episcopacy as well as priestly. Even I consult my good lay people, friends, for matters, episcopal matters, administrative matters.
Wow.
So I have very good lay friends with whom I can talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at you. I mean, that's very humble of you. That you don't just look to above. You look all around you, right? Who you're leading, your sheep. You know your sheep. That's something that is very honorable, Pithav. So, yeah.
I think it's a really interesting reflection on just what it really takes to be a bishop, right?
Right.
It's not just like we talked about the work that it gets to be there, right? It's the different experiences that you have, but it's also, so now you're a bishop, now what, right? Like how do you kind of carry on and moving forward, right? And just like Pithav said, right? Like it's not just through himself, right? And it's not just the mentorship of other bishops, but it's the people around him. And we're very fortunate to have him here, in the US. And a lot of times, I know we've been fortunate to have these visits, right? Where you get to come and see us, and not just us, but the people around us. And to continue to help to foster this community, and at the same time to help inform your own decisions. So we're really appreciative of the people around you as well, Pithav. So
yeah.
And just talking about your role as a auxiliary bishop, when we were doing research for this episode, we found that you were a titular bishop of Sozopolis. Am I saying that right? Could you talk a little bit?
It's on your Wikipedia page.
Yes,
it's on your Wikipedia page.
So that's what we're
I don't know if it's right or wrong. So you tell us.
If it's wrong, we'll edit it right now. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll edit it.
See, when one bishop is appointed, if he does not have a jurisdiction over a see, so Rome assign you a titular see that may have been existing centuries ago. It's very active see or diocese centuries ago that may have ceased to exist now. So this particular diocese is in Belgium.
Is it Belgium or Bulgaria? Was it Bulgaria or Belgium?
I think Belgium or somewhere in those areas in Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
I did some research on those days since I got a diocese. Now I don't bother about that. Now
Mm.
I
Okay.
got a C. C means diocese,
Diocese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So,
So
like,
that was
so you
yeah.
so you're like, you don't have to, like, it wasn't a responsibility, but it was more of a title that was given to you.
Yeah,
correct?
that is
Okay.
so. A bishop must have a diocese.
I see.
Okay.
So if one does not have a real one, they give a titular diocese.
Mm.
Okay.
Title
For example,
title bishop.
in the Malankara Church, there is one Kyle diocese that was
Oh.
known as an ancient diocese during the time of St. Thomas mission in India.
Okay.
Child bishop, child bishop.
Child bishop. No, I
Yeah.
haven't heard about it.
Philipos Thirumeni was known as the titular bishop of Child.
Child. Okay.
Yeah, that was a synonym for the ancient See of St. Thomas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Nelekel, yeah.
Nelekel,
Okay.
Okay.
Nelekel child.
Okay.
Nice. I did not
All
know
right.
that.
Well. Okay. That's awesome. So also, Pithav, you talked about so you were ordained ordained as an episcopal bishop, right? So how was your small bit of your time in Tiruvalla as well? You were just upkeeping a lot of that before you got your ordination or called to become a bishop here in the United States, right? So tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I was the auxiliary bishop of the Diocese of Tiruvalla. At the same time, had the pastoral, was bishop in charge of the ADK region. So
Okay.
For most of the activities, I used to be involved in the archdiocesan pastoral ministry, clergy fellowship, curia meeting, council meeting. I was involved in the administration, the board of member of the Pushpagiri institutions. So I was actively involved in the archdiocesan administration, but focusing on Idiki district. Also, I was entrusted with the responsibility of bishop in charge of the religious of the diocese, of the archdiocese. So, like that, that way involved in with the pastoral activities of the archdiocese.
Okay, awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
And like when we were doing our research, like with being a bishop, there also comes a little coat of arms that you have, as well as a certain, what would you call it, like a motto of sorts, right? So
Yeah.
we wanted to we were able to find the coat of arms and the motto. Could you please kind of explain how you came onto it, like what was the process like to make that coat of arms?
Also,
And
is
could you-
this something that every bishop has, or is this unique to the Malankara Church? Yeah.
Okay.
Normally, that coat of arms are required for the bishops who have got a diocese.
Okay.
So I took this when I assumed the office of the Bishop of North America, USA and Canada, that I followed my episcopal motto, "Thy kingdom come," the prayer of our Lord, taught by our Lord. So as a bishop, my mission is to work for the establishment of the kingdom of God, which is a spiritual kingdom. It is not the material kingdom, imparting the values of the gospel. So my coat of arms, as you find here, represent the mission and the identity of a Malankara Catholic bishop in North America, incorporating the symbols of the Word of God, the Bible, the Holy Spirit, and the sacraments, and so on. So you can see the cross. There is a Malankara cross. There is a Malankara topi. And other Malankara symbols you find there,
Wow.
Oh,
Trying to dissect that. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Like I see a palm leaf with I believe it's what is that? Pre-rocks. Could you kind of go into that? What does that represent?
These sacramental and dimensions and the fruits of the Holy Spirit, mystically confined. In fact, it is masterminded by Monsignor Peter Kocheri and an artist, Shaji Chamakalai of the cathedral parish. He's a great artist.
Mm.
He is the one who designed the coat of arms of Archbishop Thirumeni also.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
So
nice.
also another artist from New Jersey.
Oh, perfect. You have a whole team working on this. Pithav. That's awesome.
A couple of people did a teamwork
Uh-huh.
in the formation of that coat of arms.
Wow. I like it. The Holy Spirit, the scriptures, the shepherd, the sacrament. Oh, this is perfect. And I see the tassels. There's 12 of them. That stands for the 12 apostles and all that. The 12.
The apostolic.
Apostolic succession. That's good. That's awesome. It looks very cool. We'll have that on our logo or something somewhere nearby on this episode, maybe.
Yeah. And
Yeah. Go ahead.
Kayson, I believe you had a question. Oh,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, I had a quick question. Pithav, so it's your vestments are very different from the Western fathers, right? So can you just tell us about what your headgear is, the masanapsa, like a little bit? Those who are watching and don't know about the Eastern rites, can you tell us about your headgear? Maybe something that you wear also during Krubana as well. So because we could put a picture up and show people about that as well.
So in the mass vestment, the unique and the distinctive feature of a bishop is the mitre, that head veil, that patracine that we call it in Syria.
Yes.
So in the Latin Church, the bishop have this mitre. We don't have the mitre. Instead of mitre, we have the patracine, the head veil over the masanapsa. So that we put on.
Okay.
That I think that is emerging from the Oriental tradition developed in Jerusalem and Antioch on those days. So we follow those traditions. So over there is the icon of the Holy Spirit, a dove, is there. The presence and the invocation and indwelling of the Holy Spirit is manifested through these symbols.
Right.
And on the other long extra hymnia, we find the images of the Lamb of God, the cross,
Right.
all these icons are presented there, symbolizing the high priest, bishop as the high priest, representing in persona Christi, in the person.
Persona Christi. Nice. That's awesome. And you have an amshavari or the crozier.
That is
right?
called staff. That is called
golden
staff.
Staff, right? Exactly. And that represents your episcopal authority.
That's shepherdal authority.
Shepherdal authority. Okay.
It's for a sign of leading and discipline.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Leading the flock and disciplining the flock.
Right. Discipline.
Adi.
Not Adi, it's a guidance. No.
Guidance. Oh, okay.
If you are familiar with the shepherds in the Middle East, we can see the shepherds, they use their staff to lead the flock.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have you and the Eastern bishops or all the bishops of the Maronite faith have a snake that is wrapped in. So can you just tell us about the symbolism behind that a little bit?
Well, there are two things mentioned in the tradition. One is serpent. The staff of Moses in the Old Testament had a figure of serpent that symbolizes healing.
Right. He had to raise that up.
Yeah,
right.
Healing.
Yeah.
Also, in the New Testament, that is a symbol of vigilance. Be vigilant like a serpent.
Right.
So these two symbols are embodied in the forming of the staff. But there we find in between there's a cross inserted on that, in the modern times. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, that's awesome because we wanted to tell our people that maybe a lot of people know about the symbolism behind the vestments of a bishop. I always found it so cool. It's like you have hoods, and you you put it on during the holiest of holies and all that, and it is a very symbolism heavy description. So I'm very amazed by that whenever I see it. It's so cool.
When I collaborate with the Latin bishops, the Latin Mass some cardinals and archbishops say that we don't want to be nearby you because all the attraction focus on you, on the camera. Your investment is so beautiful, so attractive, so amazing. How do you get it? How do you make it? They have questions, you know. It's a very fascinating, a unique point of attraction for the Westerners.
Right.
So whenever
And
the
you're
conference going on, the cameramen focus on me because of the speciality of our vestments. Not because of the speciality of my face and beauty, but because of the vestments. Yeah.
I mean, also about beauty and stuff, just a little bit, just to entertain it. You have an amazing beard, by the way, and a lot of the bishops in the Malankara Catholic Church and the Eastern Rites have amazing beard. So can you tell us about that?
Well, sari is a sign of austerity, you know.
Oh, right.
And that's why some of our bishops do not cut it, and you know, they don't make it short. You know, they let it grow. You know,
Right.
like John the Baptist and other great monks.
Right.
I'm a very modest person. I don't like to have no beard. It's very unpleasant for me. So I do some dressing once a while to make it short.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I do self-dressing, hair dressing, and beard dressing. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, everything. You're a barber too.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I remember when I grew my hair out, Pithav, I was altar serving, and Pithav told me, if you need a haircut, let me know. he was offering to cut my hair, so.
So in the seminary, we have a coaching session for haircut.
Oh, really?
So mutual haircutting is there.
Okay,
And people make some pocket money out of that. People can. And offer that for mission charity activities.
Wow.
Right.
So
That's a great
if you go to a barber shop, you have to pay 30 or 50 rupees. But if you use our seminary facilities, we can, you know, you pay 10 rupees or 5 rupees, and that will be given for charity activity.
Yeah, including like fades and a lot of fades.
So in the
That's an
seminary, there
extra
is a room entitled barber shop. Yeah.
Barbershop.
Wow.
Wow. That is funny. Well, you guys pick up a lot of talent, all skill on the way, right? Including cutting hair.
Yeah. Cutting hair, yeah.
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 I know this stuff, but go ahead.
No, next time I come to India, I know where I'm going to get my hair.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go straight to
You
Seminary.
can come to Almond if you need haircut. I can do it.
Oh, okay. Next time I'm there, I'll let you know. You know, I'll fly out just for a haircut. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Bishop Pithav,
I
yeah,
have the
you're
basic
right.
tools of hairdressing here with me.
Oh,
Basic
perfect.
tools, yeah.
Perfect.
scissors, trimmer.
Trimmer, scissors, and other things.
Wow,
Either
that's
you can start a Bishop's Beauty Parlor, yeah.
yeah, you can. You definitely can.
Absolutely.
Bishop's
I'll be the
Kitchen,
first.
You can start a Bishop's Kitchen, Bishop's Parlor. Everything is possible, yeah.
Pithav's ready, guys. Listen, he's ready. He's ready. Oh,
MCYM can make a fundraising campaign, hairdressing,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh. This is so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm laughing too much, but I'll try to reel it back in. But okay, Pithav, we talked about beards, we talked about coat of arms. Also, this is getting into more of the duties of a bishop. I just want to talk a little bit about it, just briefly, nothing too much. But what are some duties a bishop has to do when entering his episcopal position? Like, not just in the beginning, but what's something that you have to do annually, on an annual basis, quarterly, whatever it is. Yeah, can you tell us more about that?
Well, episcopal ministry is an extension or a higher stage of priestly duty. For example,
Okay.
we have sanctifying ministry, sacramental ministry. We have the teaching ministry, teaching the word of God and the teaching morals and teachings of the church, and leading ministry. So bishop, as the steward of the diocese, as the chief shepherd of the diocese, has to lead this ministries of teaching, of sanctification, and leadership. So he has to plan it, evaluate it, reorganize it continuously in consultation with the clergy, with the pastoral council team, diocesan pastoral council team, with other pious and other religious organizations. So it's a collective work, but bishop has to oversee that. So it has got in the modern times, we say, a synodal way of doing things, drawing suggestions from the people, from the clergy, what to do with the teaching mission of the church. So other one is sanctify mission, how to make relevant the sacramental ministry within the church, how to exercise this ministry more meaningfully, how to prepare our young people and children more in depth and meaningfully in a very relevant manner in the present day time. So also the leadership ministry, how we can have a collective leadership, how we can incorporate all people in this project of evangelization leadership. So this is a very what can we say, that very comprehensive project.
Awesome.
Mission, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not just a simple way to really explain what you do, right? As a bishop, I don't think anyone can really just say like, "Oh, Pithav, can you give me a day in your life?" Because you would just talk to them hours and hours on exactly what you do, and each day is not the same, right? You have different responsibilities, different places. I know traveling in of itself, it's its own story with how many times you go to different areas and really talk. But I think I love, especially when you talk about the synodality aspect, right? And a lot of these things, there's the aspect of synodality, and I think we also have this kind of reflection and a question on exactly. We've kind of talked about this earlier, right? We brought up like the synod, right? Sui juris, right? We are a sui juris church, so we have that responsibility that we get to have ourselves. Can you touch a little bit on that and exactly your responsibilities with the synod?
Yeah.
Well, our church is a sui juris church. In the synod, we have different commissions responsible for different mission of the church. Is planned and executed and extended through different commissions. And synod as such is gathered at least twice a year. Once the major synod happens for a week, normally in the second week of the Great Lent, this time the March year. So then again another session in September. That's a short session. Normally I attend only the long session of a week, from Monday to Saturday. In the second week of Lent, that is always fixed. There different commissions, reports are presented. And when I was in India, I was the president for the Commission for Faith Formation, and commission for member of the Commission of Health and Dalit, the low caste.
Yeah.
And once I was transferred to USA, I was put in charge of the Commission for Migrants. So the Migrant Commission, we only communicate the centers where the migrants could approach and reach out. So it's not a major ministry, major commission for migrants, because we have bishops all over in the migrant areas. We don't have to multiply the ministry. For example, if I start my migration ministry in Gulf countries, there is a bishop, so I don't have to go there. So mostly what we communicate is that we have a brochure prepared where in the North America, Canada and USA, where all centers are available, contact numbers are given. So if people are coming to as migrants here, they can they can reach out to these centers and seek help and assistance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
I know you were talking about the initiative before, and like it takes a lot of effort to put something behind that. But yeah, thank you for doing that too. You're in charge of a lot of synods and a lot of commissions. That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Also,
speaking of
Synod as such is the highest decision-making body of the church.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the highest decision-making body.
Mhm.
There we share, we dialogue, we interact, and undergo a process of prayerful discernment in
Right.
the major matters of the church. Yeah.
Do you go to Rome by chance for any synods, or just Baba Thirumeni?
No, that's normally for the head of the church.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
I mean, that goes on to show like decisions aren't made. It's not a like out of. It's not a one person's decision, right? We have a lot of collaboration amongst our churches, our rights, right? So, Pithav, speaking of that, how often do you interact with our other bishops? You talked about being part of many commissions, so I'm guessing while you take part of these commissions, you're interacting with bishops. So, right now, do you interact with them as often? And we also hear about this bishops group chat. We wanted to ask you about that.
Ask you a little about that.
Yeah, is that a real thing?
Is that a real thing?
Well, we used to do that during the COVID time. Now we don't have chat sessions, but we have a WhatsApp group. And when bishops are celebrating the birthdays and feast days, we send the messages, or if any important communications to be shared, this group is used. It's no chat session as such.
No, sir.
Uh,
Okay.
No chit chat as such,
No
but
chit-chat.
only formal communications or friendly wishes and greetings and prayers on auspicious occasions of birthdays, feast days, or anniversaries like that.
Okay. Pithav, quick request then.
Yeah.
Would you, once this episode's all ready and released, would you able to put this on our group chat, maybe? Just maybe?
Pardon?
Oh,
Did you-
just we will release this into YouTube, right? All right.
Yeah.
If I were to give you the link, would
Yeah.
you share this with the group chat?
With our bishop, you mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Do you?
That's a no.
I mean,
That
yeah,
means a
no, it's okay. It's okay. No
We'll
worries.
get
It's
there.
okay.
We'll
I was
get
just
there.
We'll get there.
joking. It's okay. It's all good. No worries.
I can think of that, but
No.
some may interpret us as Stephanos Thirumeni is doing a self-marketing.
Oh, no, just say the kid. You show them this part of us telling you to do it. Okay, I'll send it to them personally. I know, like, candid Pithav and all. I'll tell them personally. I'll send to them personally.
Because they all know my story.
Oh, they all know yours. Yeah,
Oh,
they all
my
know
God.
yours.
There is nothing new.
Huh?
There is nothing new I share.
Nothing new, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's
they know
fair.
much more mysterious stories of mine, which is not able to. They are not predictable, you know. My naughtiness, my weakness, my failures, and all those things happened in the course of my journey of life. You know, they know.
Of course.
They know it much better than you or myself.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. No, that's fair. I was just asking. You don't need to put this on there, but no, because I think.
Our Episcopal fellowship is a small one. You know, we know
Yeah.
each other from the minor seminary days, seminary days, and priestly life. And when they come here, most of the bishops come here. We have very transparent
Yeah.
sharing. You know.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. Just that, like having that transparency, right? It's really cool because you would think a bishop at all times have said like
Yeah.
you carry yourself in a certain way, right? Having that brotherhood, and I mean possibly being one of the smaller churches in the Catholic Church,
Right.
it helps with that, right? It has to, right?
Mhm.
Where you're able to comfortably talk to one another, and like you said, having that relationship even from the minor seminary to all the way to the bishop, becoming a bishop. That's really cool.
It's true.
Yeah.
Also, just to wrap things up pretty soon, I just wanted to play a quick game with you, Pithav, if you're willing. This is going to be rapid fire. It's not going to take long, maybe tops 5 minutes. But I just wanted to get to know you a little bit more. Just maybe some fun trivia, maybe, but nothing you need to study about. But yeah, just some rapid fire questions. The first question I would love to ask is, are you ready, Pithav? Are you ready?
Yes, ready and willing.
Yes. Ready? Okay. I'm going to send it. Okay, it's going to be rapid fire. All right. And these guys are going to also give questions. All right.
Yeah.
What would you say to the Holy Father if he was here right now?
Most cordial welcome, Holy Father, to the market.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, right. I'll
Go
take the
ahead.
next one. Pithav, if you've all obviously heard a lot of confessions in your day, but for one day, what was the most amount of confessions you've ever heard in one day?
That was during my ministry in one of the Italian parishes. I had to sit hours and hours from morning till midnight. Yeah.
Ernando.
In the confession. Innumerable. It's impossible.
Wow. Yeah.
Also, when we have charismatic conventions, people come queuing up on the penitential day. You get exhausted sitting at the confession.
I mean, Bishop's ready, so if you have the heart, go out.
He's ready
go
too.
ahead.
Listening.
Even today, I was in youngest parish. I was sitting in the confessional during morning prayer time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This
Thank you
for daily reminder. Yeah, daily reminder. Go to confession. Go to confession.
Pithav's calling.
Remind me to make my confession also. Yeah.
We all need a reminder. Absolutely.
Everyone needs a reminder.
Absolutely.
That's
All right. Let's next question. Pithav, are you a morning person or an evening person? So a
I
morning
am
person or night owl?
I am a night person.
Ah.
Oh.
Really?
You-
Okay.
I go to bed
Wow.
after midnight normally. Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, I thought you were a morning person. You seem like a morning person sort of person. Like you wake up early, get stuff done like that. Yeah.
I get up at 6:30, but I go to bed after midnight. Yeah.
He seems like a morning and a night person, I'll be
Night
honest.
person. He's a midnight person. Wow, that's funny.
For example,
okay.
last night I went to bed around 3:00.
Wow.
What?
Pithav, you should get your sleep.
You should get sleep.
So I need sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh.
Oh, it's okay. We'll be praying for you so you can get some sleep.
Yes, absolutely.
I need some exorcism from you guys.
Oh, wow.
That's funny. That's funny. This is so funny. Okay, Pithav, let's. I'll ask you another question. This is a spiritual one. Your favorite saint?
Saint Stephen.
Ah, perfect.
Best.
Of course.
Of course. And of course, your name is Philipos Mar Stephanos. So did you have your name Philipos from your father? Like that's where you took the name Philipos from, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My school certificate, my name was TP Stephen, Thotathil Philip Stephen.
Philips.
So,
Okay.
so that is how we write in India. House name,
Uh-huh. Mhm.
father's
Yeah.
name, our name.
Yeah.
So, Thotathil Veetil, Innaride Magan, Innar.
In that.
So,
Okay,
Thotathil
perfect.
Philip Magan Stephen.
Okay.
My father's name is Philip, and my baptismal name is Stephanos. So, when I became a bishop, I added an oath with the Philip and another oath with the Stephanos.
So, I thought they were the Greek pronunciations. They are the Greek pronunciations.
Exactly.
That's so smart. Oh, I never do that. You just like I don't know. I think you already answered. I was going to ask you a follow-up question. Like, what was your early church father? Since you're a moral theologian, you probably read a lot of church fathers. Who was your favorite? Saint Stephen, probably. Or he doesn't have
Saint
much.
Stephen is not a church father.
Church father, right? Yeah, he's a proto-martyr. So, yeah.
Church among the church fathers, I like Saint Basil
Same basis.
or Saint Ephraim, like that. The Oriental fathers, Cappadocian fathers
Cappadocian father. Same base of
Okay.
greatness. Yeah, those are good. Amazing. Okay.
of the ancient times.
Ancient
Modern
times, yeah.
Modern likes, there are many Western saints whose biographies are very inspiring.
Yeah. I know you like Saint Augustine a lot. I think you I think you talked about Saint Augustine.
Saint Augustine is he represent all of our stories,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great story. I love St. Augustine. Yeah, it's mind-blowing work. Yes.
Stephanos, Pithav, I think I have I'll take the next question. Wanted to ask you, you've talked about, like the barbershop, we had a little moment there. And we also talked about, we could also do, like chefs as well, because, priests also have to do cooking as well. So we wanted to ask you, in your skills, what is the best dish that you like to make?
Well, maybe an omelette.
Omelet?
Omelet.
Not
Yeah.
in style?
Oh, not a style I can make.
Of course.
Yeah. Or mostly some raita or light stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm not a big cook. I cannot.
Oh.
I always had a cook at home. We did not have chance. Then in nowhere I
Mhm.
need to have self cooking. Always I had cooks
Okay.
posted. Yeah, in Delhi I had a cook. In
Nice.
Pushpagiri always food was served from the dietary. Seminary also from the dietary. And in Idiki I had a cook. So everything. Yeah.
Pithav, I wish I had a cook. I'm in college. തന്നെ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം.
You can invite me. We can do it together.
Oh, that's so
Oh.
sweet. Of course. I'll come over one time, just make some omelet together.
We'll do a cooking live stream next time. How about that?
Yeah, we'll do a cooking live stream. Pithav, you teach us how to do an omelet. We'll
That's an omelette, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
So speaking of food, you're a very well-traveled person, right? You've been to Italy, Germany, Switzerland, traveled all throughout India. What would you say your favorite cuisine would be?
Oh, no.
I like Italian food more than other cuisines. yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
No kappa being
Any
type.
any specific dish? Any specific dish
No.
in Italy?
Beg your pardon?
Is there like a specific dish?
Yeah, like
A specific dish, yeah.
pasta or red sauce or some
I
kind of
not
dish.
pasta. Some of the things names which I'm not able to spell out. Some of the villages in Italy they make superfood of the local ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've heard.
It's a blend of many things. I can't recall the
Yeah.
name. But Italian food is my best choice.
I've had friends who visited and they always come back and they say that is like a trip you have to make, especially just going to the local villages on the countryside, right? Overlooking the sea and then just trying some of the dishes out. It's like an experience in Italy that you would never forget. So
Yeah, I mean it's a very
There are
food
hundreds of recipes. Yeah.
Hundreds, yeah.
and like they very like they pride themselves with food, like their way of cooking. So you're getting the fresh stuff. You're getting
And
everything.
the way of eating also is different, not like the Indian way of we put all dishes together in one plate.
Right.
Yeah.
They enjoy one dish after another, so
Right,
that
yeah.
you know the taste of one dish, then they're after the second. Like that.
Right,
So
like
it's,
antipasto and then
multi course
right.
meals. Yeah.
Favorite Krubana hymn?
That's Hutomo.
Uttama. Okay. And last question. Your best minor Catholic bishop at basketball. Flat
Ooh.
out.
നമ്മുടെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ചില ഇടിക്കുന്ന ബിഷപ്സ് ഉണ്ട് ബാസ്കറ്റ്ബോൾ.
Who's the one?
Say that. In the seminary we used to play together. Now all these bishops,
Right.
Oh, wow.
seminarians. So we know their weakness, how they push, they pull, and they pivot and all know make aggressive moves.
Yeah.
So from the seminary days onwards, we know. So it is. I'm not able to spell out the name. Podcast.
On the podcast. No worries. No, that was fun because I saw some pictures or videos of Thirumeni and Thirumeni. They're amazing at basketball. I saw you do a free throw at MNC. I was like, oh, that's all. You know how to play basketball too. So yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed basketball in the seminary, and I did pass the national referee examination those days.
Wow.
Jarek, you're the MNC person. You could go be that will cause out of bounds or something.
Next time.
Those-
Next time.
Those in the ancient times, we call it the 80s. In the 70s, in fact, I did receive the license. Referee passed the examination in 1976.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we've talked about a lot of different topics today, and yeah, I mean, of course, we appreciate your time, Thirumeni, especially as we talked about, each of the steps that you went through, especially in your young life, in your priestly life, the work that you do right now, and that's just amazing as a bishop, the different hearts and the people that you touch, and of course, we know that you have so many different stories that you could, pull out, and we would love to just sit down and like listen to these stories, but of course, time continues on. We have to, end it at some point. But I do want to ask specifically, as a bishop in your current role, what do you find is the most rewarding?
Most rewarding impacts could be leading people to God
Mm.
and converting or animating people to goodness.
Mm.
Leading people to God and animating people to goodness and wellness.
I think those are some amazing words, especially because those what you just said isn't just a responsibility for a bishop, right? Those are also responsibilities of us, right? We as like the lay people who come into church, and outside of church, we work in our careers, we, are active members in our own families as well, and taking on those roles. But at the same time, we're also, inspiring the people around us, right? Leading them towards this aspect of goodness, right? Leading them towards God, to convert them, to change their hearts, right? Through leading our own lives as examples. So absolutely a fitting moment to kind of bring it all together. Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of leadership, that was just one last thing. Could you do you have any advice that you could give to our youth or to the audience that are watching right now? Could you give us a little bit of advice?
Well, our MCYM, the young people of the church, the best example for them is to follow the leadership of Jesus, the life of Jesus in their life, to find meaning. And as I mentioned, try to mature in life in a holistic manner in every dimensions of life, perfecting and sanctifying our emotional dimensions, perfecting and sanctifying our intellectual dimensions, perfecting and sanctifying our moral and spiritual dimensions, perfecting our professional dimensions, perfecting our socio ecclesial commitments and activities. So it's a holistic, comprehensive approach and growth in Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit that will lead us to the eternal joy and to produce the fruits of the Holy Spirit in our lives.
That was super beautiful, Pithav. I'm very honored that you gave us a very, very valuable advice at the end. With that, Pithav, I just want to say thank you for coming onto the show. You set up so much of your time just to have us talk to you, and we had some very good moments of fun. I learned a lot about you personally. I've now learned about the roles of bishop, the duties of bishop. I think Aaron and Jared could attest to this too, and we got to have some fun. Well, I hope the audience could take away is this, that hey, our Pithav is very approachable. He's with the people. He's working with the people. He knows his sheep. He's working alongside us. Go have a talk with him. Have some fun. If you want to go to confession, ask. He's available for you. That's why he's the shepherd of the church. And I'm very honored that you took this initiative for us and blessed our initiative and coming on the initiative to actually do an episode. Very honored. I can't thank you enough, Pithav. We'll be praying for you. Each of us will be praying for you. All of the Tea with Thomas crew will be praying for you. And if you have anything to say, Pithav, and if you have any advice or any sort of words of advice for us, we will also take that. Just how to contact us, how to call us. So we'll be listening to your advice as our shepherd, okay? So thank you, Pithav, for coming. Jarek, Aaron, you want to wrap up with a final thank you before we ask Pithav for a benediction?
Yeah, I mean, my mouth's been hurting from all the smiling and laughing that we've been doing for the
Yeah.
past 2 hours. But it's, no, thank you for spending the past 2 hours with us. Time flies when you're having fun, and you were gracious enough to come on here, talk to us about your life. You were vulnerable with us, and we really appreciate all the things that you told us. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to say that honestly, we would not be here without you.
Yeah.
This Tea with Thomas, right? This project in of itself is a very unique thing that we were able to start, right? And so, and it's just been a blessing, not just to us, but to the different listeners as well. And we continue to hear it each day as we get more and more reviews and more people reaching out, contacting us. And so, I think a big part of it is just like looking back and understanding that, our bishops have so much impact in our own communities, and we are very fortunate to have you, Pithav, here for us. So, and especially at this time as well, actually taking time out of your schedule to give us this evening. So we appreciate you again. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear younger brothers or sons,
Oh.
Kayson, Derek, and Aaron, for an amazing interaction through this Tea with Thomas. I appreciate the MCYM's initiative of Tea with Thomas. So you have been, Kayson has been talking about this great event, I think even last year itself. So, and you are influencing the young people through this podcast and your faith witness. These are manifestations of your goodness and greatness and your love for God and the church. I thank you for inviting me to join in this session. It's a delicate matter to share one's own story in a podcast, It's not so pleasant to say one's own story. But because of because of your personal connection and friendship and influence, I did take courage to share my story. It is not a great story, but a humble story of a journey of a single village boy going through the life in different stages of life. I realized that I had a long journey, long innings, and I look forward to the sunset. But I have a lot of satisfaction. I'm grateful to God for the amazing ways in which God has led me through. And my advice to you that always be in pursuit of excellence in your activities, in your life, in your career. And I wish you all the best. Kindly convey my greetings and love to all our youngsters and the MCYM activities, JDHN and other office bearers. Love you, and I pray for you. We'll remain united. We are always welcome to discuss on any subject matter, not only personal matter, theological or moral issues, or contemporary socio-political issues, or cultural issues, or medical issues, or contemporary hard issues of the impact and the influence and the implications of AI in the modern world. Yeah, or any such subjects. I could be one of the participants, may not be the resource person, but I will enjoy learning from you and sharing my inputs. Yeah. May Almighty God bless the missionary activity of Tea with Thomas under the MCYM of our eparchy. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks for
sharing.
sharing.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode of Tea with Thomas. We hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. Don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to our channel for more conversations. If you'd like to help support us, check out the links in the description.
If you have any questions, comments, or topics you would like for us to talk about, please feel free to put them in the comments below. We would love to hear from you guys.
And for more behind the scenes content and updates, follow us on our Instagram at @TWiththomas. Until next episode, stay curious, stay blessed, and let's continue to share our Catholic voices and ideas to this world. May the good Lord bless you all. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.